Alright guys, we just got a little unexpected hot fix panic button patch because the last update with the item rework was so bad they had to fix some things, so let's just jump right into it. Hotfix version 0.4.4 is now live. Since releasing 0.4.3 earlier this week, we've seen a huge shakeup in the meta and general builds. It's been great to see classes like Assassins and ADC having much better pacing than before, with the exception of some outliers such as Kingsbane and Bonesaw. These items were definitely overtuned in the last patch, and as such, they've been hurting build diversity and the overall enjoyment of the game. Based and true. With that in mind, today we are looking to make some quick adjustments here to tackle some of the larger problems that have arisen thanks to the community feedback. More changes will of course come in time, but for now we want to sort out the outliers listed above as we will address Crunch, as well as address Crunch and Wellspring. We're hoping these changes lead to a more exciting playground in the item shop with as many items feeling too important to pick up due to their overloaded stats. We also hear your current time to kill, TTK, and the tank item issues. Over the course of Season 2, we'll be looking to increase TTK and slow down combat a tad. I actually kind of like that. I like the idea of that. TTK does feel too fast. But also work to make tanks feel more relevant again. We'd also like to start prompting build paths for both Sevarog and Rampage to play front lines for their teams, as well as find a better place for Steel. These changes will focus on their survivability and ability to disrupt whilst tuning their base damage accordingly. We want to remove the ability to build like a bruiser on these heroes. However, we don't want to remove the ability to build like a bruiser on these heroes, so changes we make, we'll try to keep those paths open. With this in mind, itemization for tanks will be key, and a big topic for Omega Studios' balanced team going forward. We thank you all, of course, for your patience and for your quick and thorough feedback on these topics so that we can take quick action to fix up these larger outliers. Have a lovely Friday and a great weekend. So, a little look into the future, lowering the TTK, that's cool. Trying to keep build paths open. I like how clear they're being with us, which is great. One thing I've always liked about Omega. Balance changes, heroes, Crunch. Crunch is getting a spicy nerf. With the augmentation adjustments and a larger array of items that he can choose from, Crunch has been seeing a bit too much success lately. Seems like that happens a lot. Often taking over games very quickly. To tackle this, we're hitting his itemization whilst also decreasing his damage in the mid-late game, as well as slowing down his extremely fast jungle clear. Left Crunch physical power scaling decreased from 130 to 120. Left Crunch cleave decreased from 80 to 50. Forward Crunch physical power scaling decreased from 90 to 75%. This one's not like a super big deal. This is huge, right? Like all of this right here. 10% down scaling down on his left Crunch. It's notable. It's not a huge nerf, but it's notable. It's the cleave damage decrease from 80 to 50. That cleave is crucial, especially to his jungle clear. So this is some interesting nerfs to Crunch. I think well deserved. Muriel, with ADCs now able to amplify and stack on hit effects more easily, Muriel has become more and more effective in the earlier stages of the game. A lot of this is due to Wellspring being overtuned, but we're also going to bump down her largest shield to allow players better opportunities to engage on her or her ADC in lane. Consecrated ground shield decreased from 110 going to 330 to now 100 going to 300. Again, another solid nerf. Now we get into the items. Breach, the overtuned monster. This might be the best item I've ever seen in a MOBA, which I've only played Smite in a bit of League, but this item was stupid. I don't know how an item could be more overtuned than this. And there was people that disagreed with me. One notable name in the community that disagreed with me, and I think this is evidence that they're wrong. This item meant if someone built physical armor and you get breach, whoever just bought physical armor just wasted gold. The armor's not there anymore. You're stronger now. It was a joke. Breach became fairly overloaded when combined with the on-hit itemization. We're removing its ramping pen passive and keeping it at its dedicated anti-armor option for all classes of ADC. Percent physical penetration decreased from 25 to 20%. Splinter on-hit scaling decreased from 35 to 30%, and just completely removed the Sylvan Steel passive, which is the ramping, again, the ramping pen, flat pen. Much needed changes. I think this makes this item a lot more comfortable to play. It really hurts Feng Mao's desire to build this item, but it shouldn't have been a flat pen item. Kingsbane. Kingsbane has become the next Sky Splitter. No shit. And that it was being built by everyone due to its general stat overload. These changes should make it less appealing as a first pickup, but still viable sustained option for ADCs. Physical power decreased from 55 to 40. Chaos scaling decreased from 15% to 10%, and order scaling decreased from 15% to 10%. I still think this is a good first item in jungle on characters like Chimera and Grux. You'll see why I think this is a good first item on Grux now. In just a second. Viper. Now that Viper is more accessible due to Corrode being easier to stack than ever, we're decreasing the potency of Viper's critical strike enhancement. This will help it feel less oppressive on those mid to late game builds. Diligence passive bonus critical strike damage decreased from 15% to 10%. I don't have a comment on this. I haven't touched ADC with the new patch, so I'm not sure exactly where ADC items are falling entirely, other than Breach, which is considered an ADC item. Augmentation. Augmentation has been seeing success on multiple heroes, and overall it's been dealing a bit too much damage. It's been dealing a lot of too much damage. We're tackling this, while also dialing down its health a smidge to maintain its identity as a damage-oriented pickup for bruisers. Health dropped down from 300 to 250, and true strike scaling decreased from 60% to 50%. I think this is good. This is really good. Though this is also basically an indirect nerf to Crunch, so that hurts Crunch even more. I'm upset about this. Bonesaw. Bonesaw has been a terror on both ADC and bruiser builds. To combat this, we're removing its lifesteal and lowering its power. This means it'll be a strong pickup for bruisers like Grux, whilst removing its appeal for abuse in other roles. Physical power decreased from 25 to 20%. Lifesteal removed. Recipe changed. Here's my issue with this, right? We removed the power. We removed 5 power. Fine. Lifesteal removed. Removing the lifesteal was basically the only thing that they could have nerfed about this item that makes this item bad. That makes this item virtually unusable. The build path is the worst thing ever. I mean, just like, let's look at this. Let's look at this. This is a joke. Bear with me for a second here. Look at that. That's hot garbage. This is the worst build path I've ever seen. That is abysmal. You are doing nothing with this. So not only does the final item feel kind of mid, but the build path is completely unused. Like, as a first item, you could never. You could never. Saber? No sustain, just health and Saber? Right. Especially in jungle, you could never. And as a second item, you're waiting 3,000 gold to feel like you get any sort of a power spike at all. There's no lifesteal in here for sustain. That makes you want to build into it. There's no Omnivamp as a mini power spike. There's no Cleaver anymore, which was mini Bonesaw as a power spike. It's just this. 15 physical power? Are you kidding me? This item is virtually unusable. That's insane. I think this is the worst balance decision I've seen. This completely neuters this item. The only character you should ever build this on right now is Grux, and it's not a first item option, which I think I would lean towards Kingsbane or Mutilator. The only thing with Mutilator into Bonesaw is because of the previous nerfs, or the previous changes, which removed some of its attack speed. You're kind of really lacking on attack speed. You don't ramp up very fast, which is kind of why I lean away from Mutilator more to Kingsbane. At this point, instead of doing this, just fucking make this item what it used to be. Just make it old Bonesaw. Make a new Cleaver. Or, not Cleaver. Sorry, Claymore. Make a new Claymore. So it has the mini Bonesaw passive, bring back old Bonesaw. This is a joke. An absolute joke of an item. This is some of the worst balancing decision I've ever seen. Legacy. Legacy needs a little more power due to its components and build paths, so we're taking out some of its passive and placing it in better stat line. We're also decreasing its effectiveness dealing crowd control, as it is currently too effective when combined with high sustained builds. Physical power increased from 35 to 40%. Tenacity cut in half from 30% to 15%. CC immunity duration from 5 seconds to 3 seconds. Tenacious bravery cooldown increased from 90 seconds to 120. Resolute physical power decreased from 30 to 20%. This item's shit again. Like, these two items, I think these are jokes. That's fine. Like, this is fine. Not also this, and like, wow, brutal. This item is brutal again. It's like they had good ideas, and then they're like, let's throw in the shit. Last week we fixed Wellspring, and since then, well, everyone's been able to witness it in all of its glory. Yeah. This item has made heroes like Muriel and Narbatch extremely strong at keeping their teammates alive, and was turning non-healing supports into threats that actively required anti-heal. This was too much, so we're bumping down the values of both of its passives. Vital Water's base healing decreased from 40 to 20. Vital Water's healing scaling decreased from 20 to 10%. Soothing Water's healing decreased from 15% of the target's maximum health to 10% of the target's maximum health. This is a lot. That's a lot. I think this is probably over-nerfed now? I could be wrong, but I think this is over-nerfed, probably. Void Helm. I think this is a good change. Void Helm has felt a little inefficient, agreed, and has become too reliant on its passive for value, yep. If you're not getting if you don't care about the effect of the passive, you're never building this item. Like, the passive's always nice, but you're never like, oh, give me that Void Helm passive, I need it. It's just, like, it's this or Unbroken Will. Like, if you need one, like, a dedicated anti-magic, it's this or Unbroken, and sometimes Unbroken has no value, so you just go Void Helm. And you feel bad because you have 25 magical armor. They've just bumped it up to 30. And Warden's Faith got a 200 gold cost reduction. I agree. I think going into Wardens feels kind of bad, but the 200 gold helps. And that's hotfix 4.4. A lot of good and some egregious. Some just complete boneheaded decisions. Highlighted right here. Well, that's all for me. Bears out. Peace! So I found this box, and I know what's in it, but I don't know if you deserve to see what's in it. Maybe you do, just because you made it to the end of the video. Oh, isn't it great? Look what was in the box. That's just awesome. Look at it. It's so cool.